Okay, dear viewers, how are you? Today I am going to give you some lessons about Ielts Cambridge 7, reading passage 2, test 1. Okay, directly I am going to teach you how to solve the questions from the passage. You see, reading passage 2, test 1. Okay. This is the passage. Here is a subline, as a headline, making every drop count. We see also a picture that could be called sub headline. This is the passage. So from the headline we can understand here is a table and making every drop count. So we can understand this passage is going to be on the water management or water related activities. No problem, we can read some sentences of the first para. The history of human civilization is entwined with the history of the ways we have learned to manipulate water resources. As towns gradually expanded, water was brought from increasingly remote sources, leading to sophisticated engineering force such as dams and aqueducts. At the height of the Roman Empire, 9 major systems with an innovative layout of pipes and well-built sewers supplied the occupants of Rome with as much water per person as is provided in many parts of the industrial world today. So we see that the first para is about the history of water management. So we can understand this passage is going to show us the water management and sewage system, drainage system of water, and this is from the beginning of the human history, known history actually. Okay, so let us go to the question. What type of patterns are in the passage? At first we see that the first pattern is on list of headings, headlines. From the first pattern we see 14 to 20, here is 7 questions. Then the next pattern of question is true false not given. Here is 21 to 26. So in this passage we only have 2 types of question patterns. Okay, let us go for the keywords and important information of the questions, then we go through the passage. List of headings, we have some list of headings here. First one is scientists call for a revision of policies. So here we can underline the word revisions and scientists. An explanation of reduced water used, so here we can underline the word reduced. How a global challenge was met, so global challenge. Irrigation system run into disuse, irrigation system, irrigation disused, we can underline. Environmental effects, we can underline the whole. The financial cost of recent technological improvements, so here we can write the cost and the technological improvements. Also you can underline recent. The relevance to health, so here we can underline the health. Then addressing the concern over increasing populations, so so here we can see, we can underline the concern over increasing populations. A surprising downward trend in demand for water. Okay, here we can write downward trend, demand for water. The need to raise standards, a description of ancient water supply, a description of ancient water supplies. Okay, so we have done the keywords from the headlines. Then we go to the passages. We also see there is an example which has been given. There is an example. The example is okay. Para 2 has an example. This matches with headline, sub-headline details. Number 3, how a global challenge was met. No problem. We 100% have to make solve para 1, so we can read the para 1 and match with the solutions. Okay. In the first para, we see the para is about the history of human civilization is entwined with the history of the ways we have learned to manipulate water resources. As towns gradually expanded, water was brought from increasingly remote sources, leading to sophisticated engineering efforts such as dams and aqueducts. At the height of the Roman Empire, 9 major systems with an innovative layout of pipes and well-built sewage supplies the occupant of Rome with as much water per person as is provided in many parts of the industrial world today. Okay, so we go back, we read the first para and we go back to the questions and try to match which one is related to this one. Okay, so the first one is scientist. So from the first para we don't find any scientist, so this one absolutely not. Cross, eliminate the one. An explanation of recorded an explanation for reduced water use. We don't find any kind of water reductions here because ancient people also use a lot of water. We see our global challenge. No, there is no global challenge also here, only the Roman Empire we find, so this one also eliminated. We don't find any kind of irrigations. We don't find any environmental problem also. The financial core of recent technology, no, we don't find no recent technological development. The relevance to health, we don't also find any relevance to health. Addressing the concern over increasing populations, actually we don't find any population related topic. This para 1. Downward trend, no, we don't find any downward trend also. The need to raise standards, we don't find any need to raise standards. So only we have the last one, a description of ancient water supplies. This totally matched because we find the Roman Empire and major systems we also find. So this ancient word, I mean ancient keyword matching this headline. So we can write in question number 14, para 1 is 11 number headlines. With 11 number headlines, number 11 is totally matching with para 1. Okay. Now we see the second para. The second para also have the meaning. Okay. Another thing we also match with the second pattern of the questions. Here, true false not given. Water use per person is higher in the industrial world than it was in ancient Rome. No. These questions totally contradicts with the information, because in the passage we see the last sentence of the first para says that at the height of the Roman Empire, 9 major systems with an innovative layout of pipes and well-built sewers supplied the occupants of Rome with as much water. Here we can underline the information, with as much water per person as is provided in many parts of the industrial world today. So same amount of water are used in ancient time, but the question says to us, water use per person is higher in the industrial world than it was in ancient Rome. No, totally contradicting information. So this is no. This answer is no. We can write here So 21 is actually no. Okay, then we go to the second para. We'll have also an answer in the second para. During the Industrial Revolution and population explosions in the 19th and 20th centuries, the demand for water rose dramatically. Unprecedented constructions of tens of thousands of monumental engineering projects designed to control floods, protect clean water supplies, and provide water for irrigation and hydropower. We can underline the word irrigation because already we see a word in the passage, I mean in the headline, irrigation. So we can underline this word. And hydropower brought great benefits to hundreds of millions of people. Food production has kept pace with soaring populations, mainly because of the expansion of artificial irrigations. Again, we also find irrigations systems that make possible the growth of 40% of the world's food. Nearly one-fifth of all the electricity generated worldwide is produced by turbines spun by the power of falling water. So the two, actually what we see in the headline is that we find irrigation system falls into disuse. Okay, number four actually matches with the water irrigations, but one part, if we make this headline with two parts, such as irrigation is one part and the fall into disuse is another. So we find irrigation here, not the fall into disuse. So if we match para 2 with the given answer, I mean the examples, in the example we see para 2 is the headlines number 3, how a global challenge was met. So here we find actually, here we find during the Industrial Revolution and population explosions in 19th and 20th centuries, the demand for water rose dramatically. Unprecedented constructions of tens of thousands of monumental engineering projects designed to control floods, protect clean water and supplies, and provide water irrigations and hydropower brought great benefits to hundreds of millions of people. Food production has kept pace with soaring population, mainly because of the expansions of the artificial irrigation system that make possible the growth of 40% of world's food. So here we find a word wall. I mean the global. Nearly one fifth of all the electricity generated worldwide. Also we find worldwide. So here we can find the global word synonym. So this question 100% matching with this one. Okay. Okay. If we monitor the para closely, we can find food production has kept pace with the soaring population, mainly because of the expansion of artificial irrigation. So here we also find an information, irrigation, artificial irrigation actually making the population growth have their food available. So if you go to the true false not given sections, what do you see? Number 21, feeding increasing population is possible due to primarily to improve irrigation systems. So what do you see here? Irrigation systems matching the increasing populations with their food, or I mean to feed them, we need a huge number of agricultural activities, food for the people. So at the time irrigation helps. And what you find in the passage, same thing matching, same information matching, is that here artificial irrigation, this sentence you can monitor total, this sentence food production has kept pass with the soaring population mainly because of the expansions of the artificial irrigation system that make possible the growth of 40% of the world food. Okay, so we can say, by this way we can say that question number 22 is true. You can write here yes, yes, this one is yes. Okay, okay, then we go to the question number 15, para C. So we should read para C closely. What para C says: yet there is a dark side of this picture. Despite our progress, half of the world's population still suffers with water services inferior to those available in the ancient Greek and Rome's. So here we find a comparison actually make the service of today's world inferior to the service of ancient. So here we find an information comparing Greeks and Romans. As the United Nations report on access to water reiterated in November 2001, more than 1 billion people lack access to clean drinking water. Some 2.5 billion don't have adequate sanitation services. Preventable water-related diseases kill an estimated 10,000 to 20,000 children every day, and the latest evidence suggests that we are falling behind in efforts to solve these problems. So here we find a lot of problems creating for water supply. So we go to the we go to the headlines and see what is going on. Okay, okay, what do you see? Number one, scientists call again. No, we don't find any scientist in para 3. Explanation of for reduced water use. No reduced water use. What this para actually says, the problems created by water supply. We don't find any irrigations, environmental hazards. We don't find or any effects of environment, financial costs of recent technological development. We don't find the relevance of health. Actually in this passage in this para we find um, sanitation services. We got okay, again go to the passage and underline the keywords. In the third para, paras, you find lack access to clean water. Okay, some to adequate sanitation services. So here we find the health problem, preventable water diseases. Here we find also the diseases kill estimated some estimated people, children every day. Okay, so by this way we can also find the population still suffers here. So health problem is a big issue for this para. So we can write the question numbers, headline number 7 matching here, relevance to health. Okay, relevance to health is matching here. Then what we do is that, okay dear, today we need to finish here because we will solve every other questions later and talk to you. Okay, thank you very much.